That's it. Pete's given me the thumbs up. We should really have our clapperboard. We have a clapperboard somewhere. Welcome to Pinhole Quilting. Welcome to our showroom, our long arm showroom, which is increasingly looking more and more like a long arm showroom where we have customers come in, they try out long arms, they see which ones they like, and they go away inspired, and we send them a long arm. And that's the way it works. So we're back to a kind of a normality for us. Except there's no shows. So we're doing Facebook Live because it's a great way to connect with all of our existing customers, our new customers, and the ones who might be thinking about either machine quilting or long arm quilting.
And the first person to say hello this morning is Patricia from the Adirondacks. So.
Oh, Patricia, hi. It's lovely to see you, hear from you, and welcome. Welcome from the Adirondacks.
So we've also got Jean Cousins from Windsor, Joyce from Massachusetts, Val Brooks.
Fantastic.
Morning,
Hi, Val.
Susan Lees.
Oh, Susan, hi. Sit down. Sweet 16.
Bella is on again this morning.
Okay.
Kate, good morning. Chris Hillier, Liz Allen, and Brian possibly as well.
Yes, yes.
And Helen Burnham is always
yes, you are a stalwart.
So, good morning everybody. Lots and lots of people.
Fantastic to have so many familiar faces, but also welcome to those of you who might not have seen this before. And we try and sort of give a combination of a number of different things that hopefully are little tips and techniques for our existing customers, talking about new products, but also some things for the new people who've just never experienced long arm quilting and they kind of go, oh, what's that? Didn't even know that did that. I mean, sometimes I do that myself. And in fact, I mean, some of the products that we got in recently, the Stencils, they were products that Pete and I saw at Houston, and we thought they were fantastic. So, you know, a number of you have been ordering them, and they're the full line Stencils. But before I get into product, what I thought I'd just recount to you, because it sort of falls into the category of existing customers. And I had an order from a customer who's had a Sweet 16 for a while, and she's kind of getting back into it and wanted to know something about different products that are available for it. So that was fine. The order came in and everything, and I saw the name and I thought, oh, I remember that customer. And it was quite funny because it was at Festival of Quilts. I think it was 2012 or 2013. So we're going back quite a while. I mean, I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I remember what I was doing in 2012. So that must be an age thing. The thing was that this particular customer, she really wanted this Sweet 16, but she needed to just kind of go, I want to spend this amount of money. So she called her husband. She said, I need to call my husband. I said, that's fine, yeah, absolutely, no problem. Anyway, she said, he's in Thailand. Okay, wow, all right, fantastic. This is a Festival of Quilts. She's calling her husband, who's in Thailand. And he's a conductor in an orchestra, and he's in Thailand on tour. So she phones him, and without hardly saying anything to him, she said, and handing me the phone, speak to my husband, tell him I need it. Anyway, he was a very, very nice guy. And he said, you know, is it a good deal? I said, absolutely, it's a great deal. We had got a good deal. And I said, so yeah, she's really, really interested, and she, you know, she's going to get some good quilting out of it because there's all the space and everything. And he said, tell her she can have it. Anyway, she knew that she could have it, really. But there you go. That was just a lovely story, and I've never forgotten it. So when I emailed her, I said, it's a long shot, but were you the customer who? And I recounted the story. Anyway, so I spoke to her later in the day yesterday. And she said, yes, it was me. So anyway, she's still got her Sweet 16. And the reason why I brought that story up is because we've got quite a lot of existing Sweet 16 customers. You might have had your Sweet 16 for a while, and in lockdown, you know, a lot of people have kind of got projects out, they've got machines out. I mean, you know, there's things that we've all got in boxes that we thought was a great idea at a show, inspired, demo, yes, I'll buy it, never use it. And the idea of this session really is to kind of show a little bit of the things that are available for our Sweet 16 customers who've maybe had their machine for a while and they don't realize, you know, what's come out since. So let's just give you a very quick update. Now, have a think about this. If you've got an existing Sweet 16 and you haven't used it for a while, what I thought I could do is set up a Zoom session. I'll publicize it, send an email newsletter, etc. If you're interested in a Zoom session that covers specifically older Sweet 16s that have got, for example, a foot like this. Just going to walk up to them like this. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just looking at the back of my phone, so is that okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Yeah, so...
Here, I'll show it as well.
Pete will hold it. Pete's here this week.
Yeah, she's let me out of the house.
He was doing the cooking.
So it's focusing on you now, so I've got to put it in front of you. Right. It's focusing on you. Right, so it's got a very long...
The camera's... It's my phone.
It's a very long stem.
So it's got a very long stem. Now, the point about this is that when Handy Quilter originally supplied the machines, both for the Sweet 16 and the Avante, they had a solid foot. And if you wanted to change to the open toe foot, which came with the machine, you actually needed to unscrew the whole thing. And then in 2013, at Houston, they launched a conversion kit. And the conversion kit consists of a stem that has an end to it, stub end, with a screw, and that you can put into the needle, into the bar, and into the foot bar, and you can then change the feet. So, you know, most of you will be familiar with being able to change the feet. You've got the 2014 model or earlier, or had a conversion kit already fitted. All the FAF power quilters that we supplied, we installed a conversion kit for you. So you shouldn't have any issue with that. But if you bought them from other people, you might have a FAF power quilter that is bought from, I don't know, they didn't sell many, but I think we sold most, 95% of the FAF power quilters in the UK. We always put them in because we knew that was a really good thing for people to have. So if you've got a pre-2014 model, you might need a conversion kit. And it's self-installed. There's a video on our product page for the conversion kit. The conversion kit then enables you to use lots of different feet. So I thought if I could do a zoom on the difference between the old models and the new models, how to get your machine serviced and what the new features are, plus if you've got an existing machine, you can add stitch regulation to it, either via, just going to unplug these, either via Truestitch, which is consists of a little box and a dongle, or a puck. It's Bluetooth, and what happens is you put this underneath your quilt, and then you can either put your hand on top of it or put the magnet on top of the fabric. It holds that in place, and you move this as you're quilting. That sends information back to this little box. It's plugged into the back of your machine. And this little box, the Truestitch box, then adjusts the speed of your machine. And you set number of stitches per inch and a cruise speed. Now, this has been something that we've had for quite a while. More recently, they launched the Insight table, which I've got on the Sweet 16 over there. And if you've got a 2014 or above machine, or have upgraded your old Sweet 16, you can use Truestitch and the Insight. We've got this on £300 off at the moment. This is a great time to buy a Truestitch, and we've got some second user ones actually as well. So let us know if you're interested in Truestitch on a Zoom demo where I can demonstrate to you all of these things, Insight tables, Truestitch. Be about half an hour. I don't need much longer than that. If you're interested in that, please email us or email me, quilt@pinholequilting.co.uk. So that will be a really good thing for you to do. The other thing that we've got is these feet are the ones that come with both the FAF and the Sweet 16 and the Capri. You can upgrade, I meant to bring one over, you can upgrade, it's just gone off screen for a second, here we go. You can upgrade to a bigger foot. This large foot controller normally retails at something like, usually 170. And we've got it on special offer, £105. So this is, benefits are the speed of the increase in the speed of the machine is much more controlled. I would say it's sort of a more gradual, and it's also big, so you're not continually fighting to find it on the floor. So that will also be demonstrated on the Zoom session that I'm planning. Okay, let me just get a bit of coffee. And Pete, have you got anything to add? Any comments that I can answer?
No, we've got lots of people from lots of countries watching us as usual this morning. Okay. And the weather seems to be really good everywhere apart from in Spain. A little bit cloudy in Scotland. Talking of Scotland, we may be coming on a trip to Scotland in May.
Yes. So, do you want to say anything more about that, or shall I? Okay.
You're the boss.
I can't believe you said that. That's so not true. Anyway, we digress. He's laughing in the background. Now, Scotland. We would love to come to Scotland, and we are planning on coming to Scotland. We have some customers who've ordered their machines, and we've not been able to install them because, unlike the UK, where we could work in people's homes, it was actually forbidden. And that opening date apparently has been brought forward. So my understanding is that after this weekend, I think, we can work in other people's homes. And if it's not then, it'll be after the 17th of May. So the 17th of May onwards, we are looking at coming up to do installations and servicing. So if you're up in Scotland, I don't think we'll cover Aberdeen. I don't think we can get that up that far, unfortunately. Most of you've got suites that are up there anyway, so they can be shipped back. But for those people who've got bigger machines, we're going to be doing some servicing. And if you've been in touch about having your machine serviced, and I'm thinking, Mary, we'd love to come and see you and Archie, because that's always a lovely, lovely trip to see you in Dumfries, Galloway. And then we've got another customer, Dumfries, Galloway, on the coast that's new, up in Glasgow. Then we're going to go scooting across over towards Edinburgh via our Moxie mentor, Joe Avery. Hopefully we can see Joe and some of the other customers who are around the Linlithgow area. Heading into Edinburgh, I've got some friends who are living in Edinburgh at the moment, and we'll stay with them. Well, not with them, but we'll stay around that area. And then we might go a little bit further north. If some of you are interested in getting your machine serviced, let us know. We'll plan you in our trip if we can. So
we haven't got, just talking about dates, yes.
Oh yeah, dates.
Do you know the dates off the top of your head?
After the 17th of May.
After
I think it was the
19th
19th of May onwards. There's 10 days that we can do, and we're hoping to do it, to fit it into that area, so into that timescale.
And to reply to Val, yes, Val, I mean, clearly we're travelling to and from Scotland, so if we can fit in people in the northeast on the way back, perhaps,
we could go
or
up
the northwest,
the west, and we could come down the northeast, or vice versa.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We'll be shipping, anybody who's having a product, we will be shipping it in advance. So we've got to get our, what have we got to do? We've got to get ready and ship all your stuff. So that's pretty exciting, isn't it? Because honestly, it's been frustrating. I'm sure it's been frustrating for our customers who've not had their machines yet. Okay, so I've covered that, I've covered that. Next is stencils. Good news, this week we've got all the stock came in of the full line stencils, like the heart. We've got a new one here, which is, I think this is absolutely fabulous. It looks amazing, repeated, and I've got it over on the Moxie, which I'll show you in a second. And I wanted to mention to you all about some of the designs are literally you just quilt the white line. Others give you structure, like this. This is very similar to the concept that we used to teach by a lady called Pam Clark, which is that you get this sort of design for blocks, and there's a bigger one as well. It goes up to 16 inch, you get half of it. There's also this, which is for borders, for anything where you want to repeat it, maybe in sashing. And these are structural, so they give you like the skeleton, or the markers on regular intervals, or like the grids, so that you know to sort of quilt this bit but not the next one, quilt the next one, etc. And it creates the dimension and the quilting designs that you're looking for. Wonderful. So I'll demonstrate that on the Sweet 16 and the Moxie in just a moment. Now, we've also got a new stencil came in from Cindy Needham, which is the oval stencil. So these are normal hard plastic. And there's a skinny one, and there's a fat one. That's Cindy's wording, not mine, skinny and fat. And when you get these stencils, as is the case with all of Cindy's stencils, it's incredibly good value because you get not just the stencils, which are fabulous and well tested, and there's videos that Cindy's done, and she does do teaching. She came over to Festival Quilts in 2019, I think. Anyway, it comes with a PDF. You email her. When you've received your product, you get the PDF of how to use it. And there's some details in here, very similar to the circle. So many of the things that she showed you to do, how to do, those of you who've got the ultimate stencil, will apply to the oval as well. And we've got discounts. So we've got 20% off the Cindy Needham. No, we've got 20% off the full line stencils until next Friday, 12 noon. And we've got 10% off Cindy's stencils until the same time. 30th of April, my brother's birthday at 12 noon. And one of the things I wanted to show you, aside from the stencils, is it's all about drawing. I did a blog post this week. I've put a link on the email newsletter. And the blog post this week is based on Pauline Burbage, Handy Quilter Ambassador, based up in the borders of Scotland. Now, she's been a Handy Quilter Ambassador since 2012, but prior to that, I've known Pauline for quite a long time because we'd supplied her with a grace frame prior to that. So she is a really well-known quilter, and she's in various quilt collections, including the V&A, including the Nebraska Quilt Museum, really in collectibles, in terms of collections around the world. So fantastic and really inspiring. So have a look at that blog post. But I thought I'd just emphasize, this is something we brought back from Pauline's, which is all about drawing. That's going to be a bit noisy. I forgot how noisy tissue paper is. So on the back of this, it says 2 drawings for Liz and Pete from Pauline. Very treasured elements. And on here are the drawings for the black and white quilt that we bought from Pauline to support her in the exhibition that she'll be doing.
You can come closer, Liz. It's quite faint. So
it is quite faint. So this is quilting plan. It says up here, quilting plan for large sample piece, Pauline Burbage, November 2019 for Liz and Pete at Pinhole Quilting. And this is how Pauline plans her quilts. You see that okay?
Yep.
And there's a second one here as well, which actually shows the drawings themselves, the drawn shapes. Now, a lot of what, and it says, thank you, Liz and Pete and Handy Quilter. Isn't that lovely? A lot of what Pauline does in terms of her inspiration is from the area around where she lives, which is a beautiful part of the borders of Scotland. And she and Charlie, her husband, they live in this converted steading barn and various outbuildings that over the years they've converted. Charlie he does sculpture, but he's also does these very large line drawings that have been at Messons in Wiltshire in London. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, obviously they've not been able to exhibit as much. And they've exhibited at various galleries up in Edinburgh and stuff. So, they're really, really talented artists. So we were delighted when we picked up, pre-pandemic, the quilt from Pauline. And the point that she makes in that blog post is, I draw, 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 draw. And that is what the essence of that distilling from images and from other aspects of whatever you're taking your inspiration from. It's so important to get that embedded. When Pauline is stitching, she literally has those big drawings, the other side of the quilt frame on her big sketchbooks, and she'll be there. She's already got it in her muscle memory because she's drawn. And now she's capturing it from those sketchbooks. So she spent a week at the Pitt Rivers Museum in Oxford, looking at the exhibits, taking inspiration. She had no idea where it was going. And I think that's kind of like that must be a bit of a scary process. You kind of just spend that time and you don't have an objective. You're just taking in these images and these places and where these things have come from. And it sounds like a fascinating museum. It would be lovely to visit when we can after the pandemic is freed us all up. And Pauline did that, and then she just went home and waited. And so she's now created two quilts from the Pitt Rivers, and there were some pictures of one of those on our blog. And I thought I'd mention that because drawing is so important. So here's some little tips for what you can do. The kind of thing that I've got here, if you have one of these, I suggest that you make yourself something like this. This is in one of those plastic clear wallets, and the essence of it is the 8-point. You can just draw that on a piece of paper, and on the reverse I've got the border. So all I do is I get either a dry erase or a wet erase. The problem with the dry erase, it just comes off when you lean on it. If you get the wet erase, which is like the Lumacolor, one of these, which you literally need water to remove it, it's much better for these kind of things than the dry erase, which just comes off when you touch it. And what we do is we practice and get into our muscle memory things like E's and L's, the ribbon candy, whatever we feel like, take inspiration. There's loads of YouTube videos. Leah Day and Natalia Bonner and Kimmy Bruner and Jamie Wan and all these people are doing loads and loads of Debbie Brown, Jane Halprig. There's lots of people doing inspirational things. And just, these are simple designs. Start with the simple stuff and just get it in your muscle memory. Then you can use that to put it onto your quilt with the chalk Pounce. And we can demo that again in a minute. And then you're going to stitch it out.
So Lynn says that Pitt Rivers Museum in Oxford is wonderful if you get a chance to visit. It is somewhere that I've always wanted to go, actually, and I never have managed to get there. So once things are reopened, maybe we'll have to plan a visit.
It's not too far.
So we've got Lisette joining us from Quebec this morning.
Oh, lovely.
So we
Quebec. God, I can't even say it. Quebec.
Depends whether you're French or not, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Quebec.
Yeah, I've got the old family tree research has identified the Papineaus. My grandmother's maiden name is Papineau, and it's a really well-known name in Quebec, apparently. The Papineau, Louis Joseph, was the father of the sort of Canadian Quebec. I can't say it. Quebec.
Quebecois.
Quebecois. I can't get my words around that. It's terrible. Yeah, so there's even like a Louis Joseph Papineau house and stuff. It goes way back though. It's like 1600. Okay. Anything else?
No, but I think people were just listening to you, Liz. Just in the way that I do.
Yeah, the other thing that you can practice is stippling. So this is just a sheet of circles. If you have problems getting roundness, can you do that?
Yep.
Oh, great. If you have problems getting round, oh, that's not working. That's not good, is it? I'll use my dry erase. If you have problems getting round shapes on your stipple, oh, that was off. Went a bit off piece there. This isn't what your stippling is going to look like, but it will create a roundness to your quilting, which you might struggle to get. After you've done that, and then you just imagine and always hold your elbow away from don't lean like this, because this isn't how you quilt free motion, either on a sit down or on a movable machine. Always elevate your elbow. So you can practice like this.
So Liz, must just tell you this comment that's just popped up.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got all of these customers around the world from glamorous locations. But Jill, our lovely customer Jill, is watching us sitting in a skip lorry in Lincolnshire.
Oh, Jill. No, Jill is fascinating because we know... I think this is Jill.
Jill Pennell, yes.
Yeah, that collects large lorries. I seem to remember, Jill, when you first came to the showroom, you said what you were into, which is like heavy duty, like not tanks, but lorries and things like that. And there was a picture of you on the front cover of some magazine for people who collect sort of vintage lorries and things. It was just so funny.
Yeah, apologies, Jill, but we're not very big up on the people who are really famous in the skip lorry world.
No, skip
you're obviously one of them.
Not a specialist subject I'd be having on Mastermind, I don't think. So fantastic. Just shows
I digress.
Just shows the diverse range of hobbies and interests of many of our customers, which we do note, and particularly lovely has been like this week. We had a lovely couple who came, and one of his interests was guitars. And it was, I'm going to say Brazilian rosewood, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd just had a guitar made from Brazilian rosewood by a very well-known guitar maker. And it's always worthwhile encouraging those expensive hobbies in one's husband's activities for obvious reasons. Now, I'm going to go and do some stitching. I think that's everything I wanted to... Oh, no, one more thing. Sorry. Right, the other thing is that we've got a new style of Deco Bob. We've been selling the pre-wounds for quite a long time, and we just got a selection of the cones that have come in. 10% off until next Friday, but it'll be going up on the website when we finish the session. I haven't done it yet. We just got them in, and I've just uploaded them this morning, but not with 10% off yet. So that'll be £9 down to 90p off, £8.10. Even I can do that.
So Jenny says, expensive hobbies? Yes, we're all for them.
Yes, absolutely. I shouldn't be saying this with my husband here.
No, I'm just wondering.
This is my expensive hobby.
Oh, I think
I don't think Pete has an expensive hobby, actually. Do you? Oh, cameras, photography. But we managed to turn that into a business as well. Right, so I'm going to do some stitching. Do you want to come over with me and we will do some stitching over here, and I'll explain what I've done.
Just hang in there with the seasickness feeling just for a moment.
Oh yeah, I did have a few people say. Actually, I only had one person, but I'm sure a lot of people thought it. When I was flying solo last week, I was moving the camera around quite a lot. So I do apologise. Fortunately, no Stugaron or anti-sickness pills required this week. Now, what I've done is here on the Moxie, I've used this lovely stripy design. And also
it's
over here...
It's called Tiger Stripes, I think, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, I think it's called Tiger Stripes, yeah. There's one that's called Switchgrass and one that's called Tiger Stripes. This is a nice one, really nice. Well, you're laughing at it.
Yeah, there's some lovely comments coming up. So Bella says, when I started patchwork, my dear mum remarked, that's a nice cheap hobby, visualising me cutting up scraps of old rags.
Oh, I think I pulled something.
And Jacqueline says that you are my expensive hobby. Well, there's a certain truth in that, Jacqueline. Yes.
Oh dear, yes. So this is one of the structural ones I was talking about earlier. This is a baseline one. There's various baseline packets, baseline lines and baseline borders. And what we do with these is we just use them to create consistency of the shape, and then we free motion quilt around it. So we get our shape on, and for those of you who didn't see the demo last time, I will find my Pounce. Yes, here it is. Oops. And you just need to charge your Pounce. So we fill up the, I've done a little video, you can see it on Instagram. It's on Instagram now as an IGTV, so it shows you how to do it. But basically, I put it on here like this, and then just swipe over it like so. And there we go. Really nice and easy, and it gives you the structure that you need for repeating designs. So I started this little tiger stripe. I'll just bring over the chair so that I've got I prefer to quilt. That's great. So Pete's giving you a close-up there. Right, this is on the Moxie, on the loft frame. So you've got repeating, these things here enable you to line them up so that you can easily repeat. So you line up the end of the previous one and then the alignment as well, and that gives you the repetition, and then offset obviously to the one above. You might want to put in some reference lines for the distance between each line, but I didn't do that, just did it by eye. So etc. And I mean, what you can see, it's quite organic, it's not perfect. And when I was demoing a pantograph to a customer earlier this week, I said, you know, who's going to look at the original pantograph and what you stitched, apart from your best friend? And I mean, who needs best friends like that, right? So, you know, it's just going to look beautiful when it's quilted, and it creates a really interesting effect. If I just show you the back of the packet, it's got a really nice effect when you repeat it.
So yes, motorcycles are definitely an expensive hobby.
Yeah, that counts.
Oh, look at that. That's a really effective
Yeah.
use of this stencil.
Isn't that great? I think it would look amazing. And you could alternate, like not quilting this tiger stripe and then quilting the tiger stripe and just creating a space in between. And you could do that with a ruler, for example. Okay, so that's the tiger stripe. And then this is what I've just finished that off. Just bring my thread up. So this is the Moxie. I just got that on cruise at 11 stitches per inch, 50 stitches per minute in cruise, and I've got glide on the top and deco bob on the bottom. Now, what I did with this one, this was the structural one that's for corners, and it's like this. It looks sort of like a 1960s hairdo. And so what I did was I just drawn this with the big chalk marker, which is very easy to use. And also, if you want to get rid of it, you just do that and it comes off. First of all, I put a teardrop in, here and here, which is where my center, effectively my starting point is. And then I do my feathers up the stem, like so. Now this just gives me the muscle memory to enable me to then quilt it. But the other thing I want to do is I put in a little bit of a reference line up here, and I might do the same down here, because I'm wondering if, yeah, it's a bit difficult because I've done it both of them, but basically these reference lines tell me how far I need to come in from this side before I do this side. So when I do this side, it's easier then to hit this and make sure that the feathers are more equal. And it just means it feels nicer. So when I start this one, yeah, I go up here all the way to the top, and then I go back down the stem, and then I go the other side, and then I start this one and do that, and then I do this one, etc.
Yeah, I think it's really good to show that, Liz, because you look at that stencil on its own, and without knowing how you're going to use it, it looks a very plain sort of stencil, doesn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't
know. But
know.
Actually, it gives great structure.
It does. It's lovely.
Just to show you that stencil,
Yeah,
this is one of the baseline packets, and it enables you to fill in the blanks, as it were.
And the same with these. And what I suggest, that's my knee. What I suggest doing is always practice, draw. So before today's session, I just wanted to get some muscle memory myself, so that I look like I'm, had been quilting for a little while. But these are some ideas. I did a class with Tellen Jeffrey in South Africa, Handy Quilter Ambassador in South Africa, on feathers. And it's an awesome, I'm going to say awesome class, absolutely awesome class. I know a number of our customers did it. And these are some of the design ideas that Tellen had on her class. Some of them, some of them are quite well known, but some other ones there are quite unique. And I love the sort of square ones as well. So you can use that structural baseline to create a consistent curved shape, etc., and then you're going to free motion quilt. So for more experienced customers, that's actually a really good way to get.
And I went to do an installation yesterday nearby of a Moxie, and Caroline had been doing a lot of drawing, a huge amount of drawing. So we're going to be posting the picture that I took of Caroline. What was remarkable was that she'd never used a long arm before she came to the showroom recently, and yesterday after I'd set her machine up, she went and did some feathers immediately on the fabric as her very first attempt at free motion quilting, and they were amazing, really, for the first time feathers.
Literally the first grasp of those handlebars. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Other comments? Yes, Sally, we did get your comment. We got your comment 3 times. It seems as if your husband has a garden railway, so that's definitely an expensive hobby, I would think.
A garden railway, that's amazing.
And yes, Jenny, who came to see us this week, says that she's swapping her collection of vintage industrial sewing machines for a Moxie.
Right. That's right. Oops. Yes, if anybody wants any vintage industrial sewing machines, eBay. Jenny's machines are on there.
She's posted. They're on eBay.
Okay.
There we are.
Not Jenny. It's not Jenny, was it? It was Jenny. Yeah.
It was Jenny.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, we've got a number, haven't we? I mean, there was the customer whose husband hadn't told her, and I won't name any names, long-standing customer, and her husband hadn't told her that he'd bought a half share in a racing car. Now, when she found out, that was quite a good negotiating point, and she has Pro Stitcher now to add on to her Vante. Just saying. Now, this is Sweet 16 with the Insight table. And the point about using this machine is that we've got magic eyes in the table. It's the table that came out with the Capri, so that anybody gets a Capri gets this as a standard. But this one is the Sweet 16 one. And anybody who's got 2014, November 2014 was kind of like a key date for these machines. But we can update your old Sweet 16 with the more recent software, as long as it's above, I think it's version 1. We'd need to have your system information screen. And if you go into menu and you go to system info, you will find the C-Pod and display have got some numbers, and you need to send us those and we can tell you if it can be upgraded or not. That is a software upgrade, and it's chargeable. If we do it with a service, it makes it more economic to do. If anybody does want it done, they can actually send us the C-Pod and the screen, and we can do it remotely as well. But I do prefer to do it in-house. So I've put on here my little feather, got my little feather heart, and I've also got the structural one that I showed you earlier. I'm going to stitch the feather because I think it's more fun. And I'll just show you. I was very lucky to do a class ages ago, 2014, I think it was, with Jamie Wallen, and he did the hearts, the beautiful hearts that he does, which are very similar to this. Oh, I took off the foot pedal.
It's not going to work very well.
It's not going to work without the foot pedal. But actually it is.
You could do it in auto.
I could just press play. I could do that, actually.
Yeah.
Foot pedal, not in use.
So no foot pedal attached.
No foot pedal. I can just use the stitch regulation and press play on the screen. Right, what have I got it set to? That looks about right. I just want to increase the number of stitches per inch because it's quite a small design. Although it's glide 40, 12, I don't go anything smaller than glide 12, than stitches per inch of 12, because glide is quite a thick thread. On here I've got the play button, and it's going to start sewing just slowly until come back and just do the top bit so you can see it better. So if I go over the top now, and then I'm just going to stop and I'm going to show you what it looks like with just a longer stitch. The other side, press stop. So I'm literally not having to use a foot pedal at all for this.
So the machine is, with the magic eyes, is recognising when the fabric is being moved and then automatically adjusting the stitch length. Okay. Stop there. So there we go. Bella asks, what are the purple soap bars for? Soap bars is quite a good way of describing them, actually. They do look like, lavender soap. They're called sweet spots.
Sweet spots. They've got like I can say velour, something like that on the underside. The paddles are also very good. You have 2 of them and you just rest your hands on them, and it just means that you're not having to kind of fight the fabric. You don't have to use gloves. We did a demo of them. Right, I'm quite happy with that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Are you anything else that I can do? Oh, I could do some E's and L's on this.
Marianne asks, is there a particular time when you might use crews instead of regulated for stencils?
On which
I don't
machine?
think it really matters. Well, Marianne's got an Amara, so she's got a stand-up machine.
Yeah, I mean, something like that tiger stripe. Who's it?
For me, Marianne Tenkata down in London.
Yes.
Right. So for me, Marianne, if you've got a design that's got points on it, then crews is useful because it will enable you to get sharp points. If you've got a more flowing design, then actually crews not necessarily particularly helpful unless somebody wants to give a reason why it would be. But I tend to use crews for points.
Yeah, it's for points really. Yeah, and sometimes if you've got it on crews and you stop with the needle down, it means that if you're stopping regularly, the needle is going to come up slowly. Say you set it to 50 or 10 or 100 stitches per minute. You're not starting all the time with the needle in the down position. It will actually be coming up slowly, and then you can start again.
Yeah. So that tiger stripe design will be very good for using crews. And Sally says, I guess using the stencils also means that you don't need to put the spine in first.
That's right.
So avoiding the heavy build-up of threads.
Yes, exactly what I was doing there.
Absolutely right.
Whoops. It needs to be smaller. Big L, little E. This is E's and L's.
Yeah, E's and L's is a good little practice one, isn't it?
It is.
But do make sure,
nice
as Liz is doing, do make sure you do it not just in one direction. You've got to do the mirror image, and you've got to try doing it in vertical and a horizontal.
It looks really good that way. So let's just bring this thread up, and now start. So press play. Whoops, that was my last, it's because that was open. Oh, one of the things that we recommend if people are using the inside table, and I didn't do that on this magic eye is now exposed, and you heard it go a little faster at the end. I put a strip on at the side so that the magic eye is picking up fabric on both magic eyes. That's just something that those people who've got the inside table might want to make a note of, particularly when you're doing the border. Or doing small pieces like this.
And yes, Patricia, as well as vertical and horizontal, doing practice diagonals is also very important.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yes, I mean, feathers, one of the things that when Laurie Tigner came over and did the feathers classes with us, Laurie had it going left, right, up, down, diagonal, and then you can stitch feathers in any direction. So I don't have anything else to say this week. I'm just checking my board, but I think I've said everything. So just to reiterate, we've got for the people in the UK and other parts of Europe that want to order from us, we've got the new stencils, we've got the existing full line stencils, we've got new stock of those in, so there's plenty of stock. 20% off on the Pounce and the full line stencils until 12 noon on the 30th of April, and 10% off Cindy Needham stencils until the same time. And also, we've got an introductory offer on the Deco Bob of 10% off, and we don't have I don't think we've put a date on when we'd finish that at the moment. We just want to, get you to use it. So I think that's everything, unless you've got anything.
Just one question here from Bella, just asking what chalk pencil you're using there.
This is on our website. It's a Bohin chalk pencil.
Bohin, B-O-H-I-N. It's a French company.
Yeah, comes with replacement leads, lots of them.
So there is a very fine one, and this is a thicker one that Liz is using today.
It's really easy, Bella, to use on a quilt that's already basted and where you don't have it particularly tight. It just really runs very easily. It's very good for sort of just getting big, bold marks so you can see them clearly. I think we're out of stock of the fine ones at the moment, I believe. So I'll have to check that. Okay, or you can use blue wash away if you've got a light quilt, if you want to use that to kind of practice your designs. So there's some hints and tips and techniques and things on stencils this week, on the insight table, and a little bit about Sweet 16. Let me know if you're interested in having a Zoom conversation about how to update your Sweet 16. It would be great to connect with some of our other long-established Sweet 16 customers who maybe aren't using it as much as they'd like. Okay.
Just one final question, just to, again, it's, I think, going over what you've done before, Liz, but in terms of getting the chalk off.
Oh yeah, so to get the chalk off, you can either use microfiber cloth. So if I just do it on
so this applies to,
I'll do it on this one.
Applies to the Pounce chalk, as well as
so one of
chalk.
these.
So this is one of the clothing.
Yeah.
So that works well.
That does work well. Or you can use an iron, and that takes it off. If you're worried about it coming off ahead of when you've actually look, this it does the same with the chalk one as well. I mean, you can see that this chalk E's and L's that I did. If you don't have your sweet spot underneath it, it's a lot easier. Okay, there we go.
Or it irons off as well.
Or it irons off. I was just going to say something, but I can't remember what I was going to say. That's it. Can't remember anymore.
That's it. I think we're done.
We're done. We're done. So have a wonderful weekend. Blue skies everywhere.
Apart from Spain.
Apart from Spain. Sorry, Spain. And we look forward to seeing you next week when we'll have some more products and hopefully some more tips and techniques that might inspire you to your creative pursuits on your machine quilting. So you take care, everybody, and have a fun week. See you then.